Hi, you guys. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button because you never know what you're going to get on my channel. But even more importantly, check out in the description my shirts. They're super fun and you will love wearing them. I promise. They're magical. No, I'm kidding. They're not magical, but they're very, very soft. And they're flattering and they're super fun. So there you have it. That's my pitch for my shirts. Okay, let's get started. I got sent All About the Truth's post about the season 1 casting tapes. And as I understand it, someone else found them somewhere and then she got them and then she posted them, and I don't know the originator. If you guys do know, please put it in the comments so that person gets, you know, their rightful credit for finding it. I was like, I mean, maybe Bravo posted it and I missed it, but I don't know. It's pretty cool. So I wanted to do a video about the season 1 casting tapes because there is quite a lot of insight that you can derive from them if you look carefully, as all things. Remember, they would have no idea of what the future was going to bring when they did these tapes. And so I find them raw and very interesting. So I thought it'd be fun if we, first of all, I played them for you and then I commented as we go. What do you think? Isn't that fun? Let's do it. This should be a popular video. You need to spread the word about it. I guarantee this will be a good one. Okay, so Lisa Vanderpump is the first one we're gonna start with. Let's take a look.
Possibly tell you about sex, or with my husband or with other people. No, I don't. I've only had sex with my husband in the last 28 years. Whoops, no, it's true, I have.
I could never understand this. So now, if I had seen this casting tape, I, as Bravo production, would have been like, Lisa's openly cheating, not cheating, cheating on her husband. Like, in other words, she's planting the seed like she could have that happening in a relationship, but then she's joking and it's just kidding. But then is she joking? That's sort of the vibe. And I have a feeling that enticed producers because they were like, oh, so Lisa's willing to, you know, show maybe something like unexpected or scandalous about her own family, you know, or at least joke about it, which will be appealing because most people are too afraid on television to kind of imply that or joke about something like that or whatever. Because again, this is supposed to be a reality show, right? So it's real and you never know how they're going to edit it. I never saw any cheating on Ken the whole time that, you know, anytime I was with Lisa and him, which was generally at their restaurants. Socially, I used to go there and have fun, right? And I certainly never saw it on, you know, shooting. I didn't shoot that much with Lisa. For some reason. I did find it difficult because I felt like Lisa was into totally different things than me and she had a whole different vibe. Like, I'm not exactly the tea and cookies type. You know what I'm saying? Afternoon tea, not really my thing. But I did like Lisa. I did think she was funny. And socially, I enjoyed her. We did like rosé wine. You know, we have those in common. And really fun disco LA and DJ music and stuff like that. And she has great taste. But I did always think that dynamic with Ken was weird. And I could never understand why Ken was okay with her constantly putting him down, like in the sense of even jokingly, like it was always like, oh God, we have to have sex, or I don't sleep with him. Like if you look at the early seasons, a lot more than later, okay? It was like a thing for a while. And I just was like, gee, poor Ken, you know, he must be like, and he never said a word. He never said a word. And he was very like funny, and you can totally see where Lisa fell for him in the early seasons because he's actually, you know, he's a man's man. He doesn't take any BS from anybody in real life too. And he's funny and he's charming. He's a gentleman and he's charming. So imagine my surprise when I got leaked some gossip that recently that some old employees that worked at some of the Vanderpump Rules restaurants, I don't know which one, had witnessed Lisa like maybe flirting a little too much with some men in front of Ken at the restaurant. I'm going to use flirting, but it was implied that it might have been a little bit even extreme flirting, we'll call it, in front of Ken. And I thought, that's weird. I wonder if they were like actually deep down they had an okay thing, like maybe turn the other cheek on each other, like, and I just wasn't aware of it. You know what I mean? Like they were just like, he recognized that she was hot and like, you know, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. I don't know. I was just thinking, it made me think that. I was very naive at the time that I was on the show. Now I'd be looking for it like a hawk. Okay, so now this one is Kyle Richards. Take a look.
Get Botox. I'm not going to have my husband think I'm the only one who's falling apart. You know, if we're going to be in this fight together, let's all fight fair.
By the way, you guys, I'm intentionally going deep on these videos, right? Just to make it more fun. You could obviously assume that none of this means anything, but this is a way more fun way to do it. So Kyle comes off as self-deprecating in her looks. She comes off as insecure, and she comes off as kind of feeling like she has to compete with her husbands in the looks department, and maybe like there's some like keeping him happy kind of element, or at least that's what I took away from it. And I would assume that the producers didn't hire her based on this casting tape. I would assume they hired her really because she was able to bring in Kim Richards and she was so closely related to the Hiltons. But I think what they would have liked about this video is the vulnerability that Kyle's showing that a lot of women might relate to. And maybe an insecurity, they would look at it and go, I wonder what's up with her relationship with her husband. Maybe we'll catch some of that juicy stuff in the process of making this reality show. Because remember, you know, they're not really looking to find out if you're like a cool, interesting person. They're looking for things that psychologically they can play on. They're looking for things that people will relate to if they can get you to talk about it. They're looking for things that they can exploit and make drama over. And so make no mistake, that's what they're looking for. And I've even heard that they reach out to people that don't make it on the show and ask them to send the producers gossip. So they might be able to use some of that on the show as things come up. Yeah. I'd be like, I should be like a highly played like Bravo spy, but I'm not, but I should be. Now let's listen to Kim.
I can tell you Kyle thinks I'm drama. Even Kyle's husband is Mexican, and, you know, she'll go to say something in Mexican, and I'll go to speak something in Spanish, and she'll go, there's your Spanglish. I think that Kyle thinks I make poor choices. She doesn't like the places I chose to live. She doesn't like the way I dress. She feels I spend too much money, so she took over my finances.
But the big question on everybody's mind watching this casting tape is why the hell is Kyle give a crap about your Spanish? And why is she criticizing you over your Spanglish? And what is going on with these two crazy sisters? And why is Kyle so critical of Kim? Why is she so up in her you know what? And what is happening here? Because, of course, we don't know all the story. But anyway, looks like it's going to be good TV, and it looks like these two sisters, at least one of them, is signing up to use this platform as a way to call her sister out on the years of torture that she's been put through by being her sister. And what's crazy here is Kim is the older sister. So it's like, can you imagine your baby sister giving you that kind of crap? Oh, hell no. The big takeaway here is that at least Kim is being really honest that her and Kyle's relationship have a lot of problems. And Kyle is highly critical of Kim, and Kim really resents that. And so that is the making of a lot of fights between the two of them on this reality show, which they are obviously signing up for. So, and I think, as you'll see, I'm going to make a comment in a minute as to why I think that Kim's tape is the way it is. She says that Kyle controls her money. Like, which leads me to believe, like, did Kyle know that Kim had an issue already before she went on the show?
After everything that I have done for you, everything I've done for you, I'm always there for you.
Everything you've done for me?
Yeah, everything I've done for you.
You
off my goddamn house!
And that really like shocks me, because the kind of way she made me feel in season 2 was that nobody knew her sister had any issues. This was sort of a new thing that she had going on. And why would you ever want your sister, who's having already established like issues in any way, shape, or form, that you have to control their money on a reality show? I mean, right? Doesn't that seem a little bit selfish? Just saying. I really did believe Kyle didn't know. But from this casting tape, I'd say otherwise. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked. And why wasn't Kathy in control of Kim's money and only Kyle? Anyway, curious about your thoughts on that in the comments. By the way, a little gossip. I think Kim is currently living in a condo that Kyle owns, and I don't know if she's living there free or what. But I do know, I do believe last I checked in, that was the case. Well, Adrienne Maloof sounds very humble and like she doesn't want to talk about, you know, her money too much as part of her casting. But she had a ridiculous lifestyle. So I don't think she really needed to, because it was so absolutely over the top that you would get that off hello. You know what I mean? And also remember, Adrienne, out of all of the women, was the most well-known, besides Camille. And oddly, Camille is not included in this montage of casting tapes. I don't know why. But anyway, Adrienne was very conscious to not... she was like me. She thought the show was supposed to be about women in Beverly Hills, how they really act, their lives, their social lives, their philanthropy, their jobs, being, you know, having businesses and the like. And it turns out that's not what the show was about. So Adrienne really, I think, was presenting in this casting tape what I keep telling you guys, sometimes the narrative was given to us. So Adrienne never signed up to be on a show where you were going to find out some scandalous thing about her children, or that, you know, the breakdown of her marriage, or any of that stuff. That was not what Adrienne was willing to put out there. And I think they wanted the Maloof name so badly to be associated with the show, along with Kyle and the Hilton name, that they basically led Adrienne to believe that the show was going to show her in this like really like inspirational light, which it sort of did in season 1, but then that unravels. And you see Adrienne quit the show because of it. And I just wanted you to get that insight, because the producers, I think, told the women different things depending on who they were in the casting. As you see in my exposing Kyle video on YouTube, I believe Kyle's a secret producer, and I believe that that's why Kyle and Kim's casting tape seemed to be a little juicier. It's like they're trying to show, you know, that they could fight. They're trying to show that Kim is got some serious issues, and there's a weird dynamic between her and, you know, with Kyle controlling her money. She's a grown woman, and they probably had some backstory on Kim on top of that from Kyle. And Kyle's trying to show she's insecure and that she's relatable. And anyway, I feel like they're more packaging the show versus everybody else is sort of just, I think, you know, trying to show that they're funny or trying to show that they're inspirational. It's like a different energy to me. That's my opinion. So it's possible that that's because Kyle was really trying to get the show made versus try out. Speaking of Adrienne, let's look at her casting tape.
For nice things, I like nice things, but I put it into perspective.
Adrienne was very difficult to get to know, but I can tell you I liked her very much. She was always a straight shooter. She was a good person. She led by example. Like, she was, you know, I don't know what the hell happened in her divorce. I know that got ugly. But I mean, when I say that is just really the exception to the rule with Adrienne. Like, she is really like an honor to know. Really. Here's an insider story. So Adrienne gave me one of the Maloof hoofs. It wasn't called that, but she had launched this shoe line in season 2, and they were gorgeous. And she gave me a pair, and I am not kidding you. It was this like pink skin tone suede. It had this amazing, like unusual heel, but it was super comfortable and you could wear it for hours. And it was super high. It was literally the best pair of shoes. And I've owned a lot of shoes in my time. Louboutins, Yves Saint Laurent, everybody. And I'll tell you what, Adrienne Maloof's shoes were my favorite shoes that she gave me. I'm not just saying, I have no reason to say this. My favorite, they made my leg look the best. They were the most comfortable, and they were so well designed and durable that like I secretly pray that Adrienne Maloof restarts the company again for my sake, because I literally kept those shoes alive as long as possible. Like, I mean, it was like I was like a cobbler at the end. Adrienne, please start your shoe line again. Now, please. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you about my casting tape, which has never been uncovered. Lucky for me. Anyway, let's look at Taylor's, which by far is the weirdest casting tape of the whole group.
I live in Beverly Park. I want that life. You know, there's like 4 ways to get there, right? I mean, you could inherit it, right? Which Adrienne did. You can marry it and not marry it. Or you can make it on your own.
Okay, so my first thought on this was, has Taylor been drinking in this casting tape? Because she did not talk like this. You know, you marry it, you can cook it. That was not, she's very articulate when she speaks. Okay, she's like on point. So I was like, did she maybe have a cocktail because she was nervous or something before she did this casting? I'm serious. That's one. Number 2, you see the preoccupation with social climbing. Okay, you guys, I'm not just saying that, you know, I truly believe that Taylor's whole initiative in Beverly Hills was to social climb. And I didn't know that at the time when we were friends, but that's what I gathered later after especially becoming a gossip expert. And I really think it shines in this particular video, that MO. I also thought it was strange because, you know, we were good friends at this time off camera, and she had a really over-the-top life. Like, she didn't have, you know, Adrienne Maloof or Lisa Vanderpump's mansions, but she had a big-ass house in LA in a great neighborhood. She drove nice cars. She didn't work. She had, like, a $700,000 engagement ring. She had jewels. She had fashion clothes, and through, you know, lavish parties, not at her house, because again, that wasn't Adrienne Maloof level, but I mean, still over the top. So I'm like, and this makes you think about how strategic she looked at men at this time, openly. She was really showing that Beverly Hills gold digger type mentality. This seemed to confirm some of the gossip out there for me about Taylor that I didn't know when we were friends, but I found out after the fact. I'm not trying to be too bitchy, but I will tell you the one selection that she offered that she didn't do was work for it. Also, at this time, to live in Beverly Park, the houses started at $24 million, and they went up from there. Can you imagine if you're like dating or the husband of Taylor Armstrong and that's her dream, how hard it would be to keep her happy? Can you even imagine? Oh my gosh. I mean, you guys, there's some of you like me who have a son, right? I would not want my son with someone who thinks like that. You know, ew, it's like he's an object for them to take the money or whatever. It's just really weird. Well, maybe Taylor was going to be casted to show the dark side of being in this environment. I don't know. Weird. Anyway, now we get to talk about my casting tape. Yay. I've never talked about this before, I don't think. It was so perfect and so lovely. No, I'm kidding. I'll tell you what really it was. So I didn't do a casting tape for season 1. Season 2, I did. They just put me on season 1 because I was just like the event planner. Okay, so my casting tape actually, as I recall it, we weren't in my house. Like, they all seemed to be in some sort of house or hotel or something. I don't know. I actually went to Evolution Studio, and I remember it being very intimidating because the room was like dark and there was like people in it and the camera was really bright, the light. I'm just doing this. This is like a long ass time ago, guys, so bear with my memory. But I remember they asked me a load of questions because I was in like the finals now, let's say, of whatever the hell they were doing. And I remember, okay, don't laugh. I'm so embarrassed. All right. I remember them asking me about my mom's death. And I started crying on camera. And I told a story about my childhood, about how my mom used to buy me dolls. That because of my mom dying in such an awful way in a car accident, that I would buy dolls for myself. And I had one of the largest collections of Barbies in like probably California because of it, because I actually would buy dolls to make myself feel better. I know. It would bring back a childhood moment before she died. Oh God, it's so like weird. They were probably like, hire her, she's nuts. Yes. She's losing, she's unhinged. Then I remember talking about my obsession with, educating my son with reading and teaching him baby sign language and having him learn other languages that were complex, like Thai and all these really weird idiosyncrasies that were totally true that I did. Just saying, if you thought those were awful or weird, sorry, that really happened. I still believe in all that crazy stuff. I, sculpt my son like clay. I'm sure later in life he's going to really hate me for it, but it's something I do. Can't help it. And I think I spoke a little bit about all the parties I had done in Cannes and all the film festivals, and that I had done movies and product placement, and I was like really proud of that, and like as a businesswoman, and that I loved to party and throw parties with like famous people. And then what else? I think I probably talked about my father of my child in a positive light, because at that time I had no idea that he was a psycho. And I probably was bragging about his intellect and his success and all these things that I thought he was, that he wasn't. And they probably thought that was great, because they already knew he was weird. So they were definitely going to show that on the show if he would have eventually signed the release, which he never did, because he was cheating on me and he didn't want it to get out, I guess, his face, that his women would know, or his significant other in another state he was dating. Remember the rest, but I think I probably talked about having a baby and that whole change in dynamic from being like a party girl to having a baby, which I was dealing with. It was very challenging. And what the hell else? I bet they asked me who I lived with, and I was living with my grandmother, who you never see her on the show, but she actually did shoot the show. She was hilarious. She was in like, I want to say her early 90s. And she's so old school, my God. So, and then my chef, Roland, he did make it on the show. Oh, Miss Sue, my nanny. She was so amazing, Miss Sue. She was lovely. You guys remember that scene in Anchorman Part 2? Ron's pickup attempt. He's picking up Christina Applegate, and he's like, do you know who I am? And she's like, no, I have no idea. And he's acting like she should know who he is. It's hilarious. I'd play it for you, but there's music in the background, so they'll nix it. But that's what the casting felt like to me. Okay, that's the vibes that my casting had. Oh, one last thing that the producers were interested in is that I left home at 15, and they wanted to know, like, how did I get where I was when I, left that young? If I remember, I just think these were the things that I recall talking about. Anyway, that's it. I don't know. I can't remember any of the other crap they asked, but that was, I think, my big call out things that I said. Oh, speaking of my glamorous life, the laundry sounds done. All right, you guys, I hope you liked this video. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. You never know what you're going to find on my channel. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. Mwah.